Welcome everybody to Legendary GM Crew, formerly known as Brick City GM Crew. 2015 presidential debate for the president's seat of the PA chapter. Before we go on, I want to give honor to our founder of this organization, Mr. Tyson. Definitely want to give honor to our First Lady, Nafi, of Legendary GM Crew. As you all know, we're taking this to a new level. We had a presidential vote some months ago and we had a complete gridlock. So now we are here to do a formal debate to figure out who's going to take the hot seat of the presidential seat in the PA chapter. Are y'all ready? Now we'll introduce to you the candidates for the presidential seat. Our first runner-up is Money Honey. Our second candidate up is Ace. The debate will begin and we will see who's going to be the president of the PA chapter when we return. Welcome back everybody. We're getting ready to begin our presidential debate for the 2015 PA chapter Legendary GM Crew seat of presidency. Now, our first question to the candidates would be, what qualifies you for presidency? And we're going to go with Ace first.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I believe what qualifies me for presidency is the leadership skills that I possess. Knowing that an organization as great as this requires, you know, sophistication, great, for you to be a great team player. I believe that I'm a team player, a thinker, a critical thinker, and one that will make sure the job gets done. Thank you.
Money Honey.
That was a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. There was a couple of great points he made. Being a leader in GM Crew is very important because this club has already established a type of popularity that needs to be rebuilt. And as a leader, me being your leader, you know, I want to help build that strong team, that supportive team, because one person can't lead. It has to be a team effort.
Thank you. Now, what would be your plan to increase the awareness in the community of our club? What steps would you take to increase the awareness of Legendary GM Crew in the community as well as the MCACSC world? And we'll start with you, Money Honey.
Okay. First of all, you know, like I said, GM has already have a name for itself, so we want to reestablish that. We want to put it back out there. We want to make sure everybody remains knowing who we are. So by doing that, you know, just going out meeting and greeting, you always have to wear your colors when you're going to parties, and they, you know, they have to see that we're a tight fit, we close, and you know, we roll together. You know, we have to roll as a family. So just out there, our appearance is everything. The way we present ourselves to other people is the way that they would respect us.
Ace?
Great points. Truly awesome answer. However, as she has stated, Money Honey has stated, excuse me, I apologize for that. As she has stated, the organization has already been established. So now it's time for us to thrust forward. We can't look back on what was not done. We have to move forward into what can be done. Looking at our school systems in the Newark area as well as the Pennsylvania area, there are some areas where I believe we can re-establish a club that I once was a part of, which is called the Do Something Club. The Do Something Club for this chapter would be to find a way that we can get our organization into the school systems and maybe open up a tutoring program or something that would have our students more active, if you will. A lot of the church communities, we have a lot of churches in Allentown as well as in Newark, so we can't forget those, the churches, as well as, you know, helping out at their food banks. She stated, Money Honey stated that the club was has a name. I'll go more into that in my closing argument, but the name already if you will, carries something. And with me being president, I plan to make sure that the GM crew is working with the churches as well as working with our community, feeding the needy, also making sure that there are things there are things that within our organization that we can address that will better enhance us and make our name sound even more popular.
What are your views on recruiting and the retention of members? Do you understand that question? We'll go with you, Ace.
Well, my views on obtaining members, correct?
Yes.
Is number one, GM crew. First, we have to understand that we have bylaws. Not only do we have bylaws, but we have to uphold the standard that our CEO, that our chapter founder, that our future president or vice president upholds. We as an organization need to look for that. Do they hold respect, perseverance, making sure that the job gets done? Are they a team player? We want to have more recruiting we want to have a higher number in recruiting rather than a turnover rate. We want people to be a part of an organization that is doing something, that stands for something, and that means something. Thank you.
Okay, well, can you please ask the question again?
What are your views on recruiting and retention of members?
Okay, for recruiting members, of course, you would like to recruit people that has personality, that's respectable, definitely, and as he stated with the bylaws, that can definitely, stick to the bylaws and make sure that the job is getting done in whatever position they hold, whether they're just a member or they're sitting in one of the seats. And definitely retaining them, just making sure that because we all a family, basically, and we have that, just helping your fellow man and helping your brother and your sister, and, just keeping that close in the family. If somebody going through something, you don't have to get deep into your business, just make sure they're all right, just make sure they're good. That's how we, keep the closeness in.
That's a good one. Okay. Now, what are your views on reconnecting and reestablishing Legendary to the MC and AC world? We had a lot of issues where, being in this organization can be very hectic. It can be very busy. It could be sometimes even a financial burden. I want to know what would be your view or approach on reestablishing the connection with the MC-AC world and the community to get that support system, because you know that our organization is ran a lot on supporting one another, and there's so many different clubs out there now. What would be an approach you would take to reach out to those other clubs and kind of maintain some type of connection and support, to receive support back from them without burning us out? You understand that question? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll go with you, Money Honey.
Okay, I think that with us definitely trying to rebuild Legendary GM, Everybody got to be on board with paying dues on time and making sure that, you know, the kitty get built up to something that's comfortable for everybody to be able to, you know, go out and entertain. Because we don't want to always come out of our pockets to pay, you know, for club entries, things like that. We want to already have that in place so that everybody can go. It don't have to necessarily be, I don't have it this month or whatever. It'll already be there if we all just follow, you know, the guidelines of paying our dues on time and making sure that, you know, everybody is there.
Awesome question. I do want to state that in order to connect with the outside world, once you have closed yourself in, you have to come out of your box. And for an organization that's re-establishing themselves, it is now time that we, they have a saying, each one, teach one, each one, reach one. That's what I'm going to go with. Each one can reach one. How? You establish a relationship. You got to show yourself friendly. You want legendary to be known. You want people to respect you. You have to show you have to carry yourself with character, dignity, pride. So, if it's a matter of getting us to the place where we have the support of another club, is to go out and support them, and you know, have that connection with them. You may not click how you might click with somebody else you just meet. You just may not have that, but you have to represent yourself to a standard. So I believe that is, you know, you going out as president. I believe in, you know, hey, let's VP, let's get together this weekend. You know, let's go and support. I know a club of Trust No One. I'm very good friends with the founder, and I've actually spoken to him about supporting our organization and our club, and I can only go based off a word, but I believe that they will come out and support us. So it's all about how you present yourself.
Okay. Final question. What are your views on enforcement of the bylaws, and what approach would you take to have your members abide by them? You understand that question?
Mm-hmm.
Ace, enlighten us.
When it comes down to bylaws, as a member, you already know that there's a strict guideline that we have to follow. I've not been a member of this club, but to know what happened recently will not, as president, will not happen this year or on the years to come. Why? Because we have to enforce the bylaws. As president, I'm making sure that if something's not being done, there's a verbal warning that goes out. If you can't adhere to that verbal warning, there will come, make this very clear, there will come where you will have to make a decision whether this is where you want to be or this is not the right choice for you at the present moment. But before we get there, I believe that, you know, just reaching out, hey, what's going on? You haven't met such and such requirements. It is crucial that we meet these bylaws. There is no other way around it, or else, you know, we're gonna have a good petty cash, as she said it, a good petty cash. I believe you will get a penalty for that, but that only comes along with you making sure that if you can't do something, that it's said. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be said. Let someone know what's going on.
Yes.
Okay, I think that, I'm sorry, ask the question again, because he take me out my zone.
What is your views on upholding the bylaws?
Okay, my views on upholding the bylaws. First of all, you know, we are all adults. We are all grown. And when you join this club, when you in this club, it's something that you want to take serious. So when the laws or the bylaws or anything come up and things need to be done, or you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, you have to understand that there's a penalty. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You got to know if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, there's going to come a penalty. And like you said, the verbal warnings, yeah, and it's going to be 3 strikes, I'll say, 3 strikes. So we all got to be responsible when it comes to us and what we know we need to do to push forward, especially if we want to be a strong team.
What is your availability for presidency?
That's a good question. My availability is basically I do work with the mentally disabled person directed supports. So I work 8 to 4. So sometimes I have doubles, sometimes I don't. But I will make myself available if need be in advance with the advance notice.
My availability is whenever you need me.
I like that.
All right, now, Ace, if you had to ask Money Honey one question, what would it be?
Wow. I had to ask Money Honey one question.
In reference to presidency.
Can you give me a moment to think about that?
I sure can.
Money Honey, would you be so kind to ask Mr. Ace a question of your choice?
Yes. Mr. Ace, how can you represent GM as a whole?
Oh, fuck. Great question. Great question. I believe that you don't actually, if you will, don't take this out of context. It's how you carry yourself. There we go. How you dress. Everything speaks for itself. First time you meet someone, you already perceive based upon looks that you already judge him out. Well, think he, but to answer your question, I believe just in representing him, GM, legendary GM, as a upright young man, making sure that I carry myself in an appropriate manner so that when people see me with my vest on, that there will be no bad information coming back to my CEO and to the chapter founder, letting them know that things got out of hand and so on. So my question to you.
Oh, it's another question? I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't another question. It was just, as president, what are you willing to bring to the members of Legendary?
What I'm willing to bring to members is support, a listening ear. I'm very emotionally intelligent. I can change with the wind. If you need me to get down with you, I'm down with you. If you need me to cry on, I'm here. If you need some helpful advice, you know I'm here. If you just want to vent, I'm here. I'll even offer a ride. You know,
All right. Is your main course of action for this team? Your main course of action. Where would you like to see us go? Just your main course of action. What area would you really focus on? What is your first priority to focus on? That would be, let's see. Money Honey.
I think just getting out there and supporting everybody and just building back those relationships or building new relationships, strong relationships with other clubs and just supporting the community, definitely. We need a lot of support in the community. I actually did a food drive, community service not too long ago. I thought it was gonna be stressful, hectic. It was actually cool. Just something going in, you know, package up some stuff, but dance, music, whatever. Just things. I mean, it's just a pastime, support, helping. You never realize who you helping at the end of the day, because when we helped the food drive down in Newark, Edison, Eaglewood, Edgewater, whatever it had that big fire, and we was packaging up some stuff to send to them. So it made me feel good at the end of the day that we was doing something for somebody else that really needed our help.
Awesome. My main first task is to establish us back into the community. Legendary GM Crew is a community-based, as well as family-based oriented. And so the main goal is to rekindle relationships. Whatever you thought you heard about, formerly known as Brick City, is no longer in existence. We are looking to maintain these relationships, as well as just going out and doing something for our community, such as food drives, as she has stated. And that's about my first priority, is just reestablishing and moving Legendary forward.
If there was conflict, God forbid, again, between other groups, such as, how would you be able to solve that situation? Both of you.
Okay.
Well, you can go first.
Okay. Well, first we need to make sure that all the facts is put in place before we start dissolving any issue. First, it shouldn't be no issues with anybody if everybody is upholding their parts of themselves. As long as everybody is on the same page of maintaining themselves, we shouldn't run into no conflict. We shouldn't run into no issue. If it's an issue, one of the head people need to know right away so that the top people can dissolve it. Shouldn't no members be going at head with nobody's presidents, nobody's PO. Y'all need to make sure that chain of command is in effect.
As far as when it comes down to let's go in this route. When you're out as a club and we're out together, there will be drinking. I'm not gonna lie. And people do get out of hand and can't control their drinking. So what happens? We get into an altercation, something, I'm ready to fight. Like I stated before, Legendary GM Crew. In my closing, I'll hit that. But it is necessary. Like we've stated in the earlier questions, you have to carry yourself with dignity. Know your limit. Know your limit. If you know that you get buck wild, you get buck wild, you about to turn up, let somebody know. I mean, of course, we all know who gets wild or whatever, but let someone know. But then when it comes down to it, remember, you're wearing a vest that not only carries a name, but it means something. And it should mean something to you. So as your president, it is my goal to make sure that if you come into conflict, like Money Honey stated, make sure that the upper hand know. Don't let us not know, and then we have to find out, and then it becomes a bad reflection on who? Not only us as an organization and a club, but it reflects our CEO.
Whenever you can't go to that band, like let's just say the other team get out of hand and they get physical with you first, and you like a dog caged in the corner.
I'm sorry?
Like a dog caged in the corner.
I mean, I would never tell you how to defend yourself. You have to, at least find some type of level ground, see if you can reason with them first, of course. I would never support violence.
I like that. I like that.
But it should not be a reason why you can't get to someone or send someone for the proper person.
I would 100% agree with Money Honey, and say, you know, by all means defend yourself. However, remember that there is a penalty. You can and will be arrested. I mean, it will happen. I'm just saying it can. You know, it will happen. However, defend yourself. But remember that, you know, we can't control them, but you can control you.
Do your closing statements, and we'll start with Money Honey. In this closing statement, you can tell us all that you would like.
First of all, I'd like to say thank y'all all for coming. God bless. Good night. It's like, no, really. But, you know, this position is not only important for me, but it should be important for everybody to have somebody to go to when they need, you know, to talk, or they're not sure about a situation, or just need a supportive hand, or, you know, just somebody that's a great team player. We all need a good team player. Without a team player, it's only oneself. And I'm going to say, I thank my opponent today for coming. Nice blue shirt, I like it. And, you know, just, you know, I'm looking for us to just be a close family and, you know, just do this. Let's do this. That's it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the legendary GM crew, to the Vice President Ghost, to the chapter founder Big Al, and the CEO, Mr. Tyson. I salute you and I say squad.
Squad.
I first want to start off with a quote. Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Tonight, I want to talk about giving back as an organization. Someone once had to give to us. Now the time has come for us to give back to them. When I first came to Pennsylvania, a man reached out to me and my family in a time of need. He was a listening ear, he gave his advice, but he also put the fire where it belonged. And that person is none other than Al. This club did not know me, but they did accept me as an outsider. When I first learned of this organization, I was pretty eager and excited to join the club. I knew that I wanted to take this club to where it has never been before. So let's get down to business. Thinking about what the name of this club is, I had to do my research. Yes, I did my research. I looked up the word legendary. Legendary is described as remarkable enough to be famous, well known. My goal as your president is not only to make us what we are, but to get us to where we ought to be, and that is legendaries. Leaving a legacy behind for the next generation to follow. My goal is to make our name a name that no one will forget, a name that will be in the mouths of others and other clubs, a name that others will call upon when they need us and when they want us to do something for them, a name that will be recognized amongst every organization and club. As your president, I will make sure to live up to that name that we wear on our backs, the names that we wear on our back, and that we carry ourselves with dignity like we always do. And to give back to our community, to work very close with our founder, our chapter founder, to see their visions come to pass. As your president, those that seek membership of Legendary GM Crew will do as such. They will abide by our bylaws, and they will go on probation for a number of days. They will be required to pay in advance for their garments, meaning their vests, so that when the day for them to cross over comes, we will vest them, and that they will meet our standards. with the name change comes great responsibility. It is my goal that we reach out and build our organization. It is my goal to see our numbers increase and to see those turn away come back. Excuse me. Technical difficulties. So, with that being said, let's do more of fundraising. Let's do more of reaching out to those let's do more of reaching out to those that we don't know. Let's do more of communicating and volunteering. As your president, I also hope to bring some positive attention from different places such as our hospitals, our school districts, our churches. I can say I will do this and do that. However, as a president, we all make errors. So with those errors that I do make, I plan to learn from my errors and remember to make this a learning experience, just as each position is a learning experience. But most of all, have fun, leaving behind a legacy that the next president can make and even achieve higher goals. If given the chance to be your president, I will continue to strive to better myself and this club. Many will have negative things to say about us, but all it takes is us to remain positive and keep on pushing. The race isn't given to the swift nor the strong, but as long as we run this race with dignity and build our organization, then we shall survive. So I say thank you, and may God bless Legendary GM Group.
Both of you. We have our candidates. We're going to do a private vote, and we will be back in a moment.